About a shooting in Minneapolis. Shooting in Minneapolis, viewers, we're getting to know that an ICE officer shot and killed a 37-year-old woman during a major immigration operation in Minneapolis. Federal officials said she used her car as a weapon, a claim city leaders angrily disputed. So we're given to understand that a shooting in Minneapolis, an ICE officer was shot and killed a 37-year-old woman during a major immigration operation in Minneapolis. Federal officials said that she used her car as a weapon, a claim city leaders angrily disputed. We have a lot of reactions pouring in from witnesses. Have a look, viewers.
There was a red SUV parked right in front of our house. Two people in camouflage, ICE agents, presumably one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side of the vehicle. A third person in also camouflage fatigues came and started pulling on the driver's side door handle, at which point the vehicle backed up a few feet and started driving forward. The agent who was on the driver's side originally, who was not pulling on the handle but had been there prior to that, shot 2 or 3 times through the driver's side window. The car drove a 30-40 feet and crashed into another car in the telephone pole.
There was a red SUV, and it was turned mostly sideways in the road to obstruct the ICE guys. They were shouting move your car, you're obstructing the road. The car backed up slowly and proceeded to pull forward pretty slowly. The agent who fired the weapon was on the opposite side of the car to me, and I heard 4, possibly 5 shots. And then the car sped forward because this person's injured and their foot went down. And then it crashed into a nearby car. I saw the passenger exit the vehicle. They were crying and their face was covered in blood. The agents on the scene were shouting, "No pulse, no pulse."
I want to start out by addressing the loss of life that we saw here in Minneapolis today. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism. It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers. And we'll let the FBI continue the investigation to get it resolved.
Siddhant, so what evidence supports the claim that the car was used as a weapon?
Well, all we know is that the IC shooting leaves woman dead in Minneapolis. In fact, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended an IC agent today after he fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, saying the driver had attempted to run over him. State and local officials disputed claims that the shooting was done in self-defense. Now, Tim Walz said he has been warning for weeks that ICE operation in his state Governor Tim Walz were a threat to our public safety. Separately, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey disputed the DHS account and told agents to leave Minneapolis. Now, the woman was identified as a 37-year-old Renee Nicole, good by U.S. Senate, Tina Smith, Minnesota Democrat. The shooting happened as Minnesota faces an immigration crackdown amid a nationwide enforcement push by the Trump administration. So not the first case, Sukanya. In fact, in last 1 year, there have been multiple such cases where the ICE teams were targeted. ICE teams were targeted. They were pushed out. They were misbehaved by the immigrants, and in fact, many of the provincial governments are also not happy with the ICE crackdowns in their state. So now this matter is under investigation. Now Homeland Security has to say that this firing, the IC official fired bullet in self-defense, but state and the local officials are disputing claims that the shooting was done in self-defense. So there's going to be an investigation in this matter. But as I said, that there is a lot of hatred against the ICE teams in various parts of the United States, especially the areas where immigrants live. Not the first case. In fact, there have been massive protests also where ICE teams were pushed out of the areas. They were not allowed to enter some areas. And now we're getting to know that this firing incident has taken place in Minneapolis.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for sharing that very crucial input with us.